All right, everybody. Today, November 9th, 2021, you are in a special edition of the 411 Sports World Show Fantasy Football Edition. It is I, Mr. 411, and the calculator. What's going on, calculator?
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Uh, man, I'm doing wonderful, man. And it was a very intriguing fantasy week, and we got to
Yes.
get this party started.
Great intro, Mr. 411.
That's right. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Before we get this ball rolling, please like us, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button.
And as we've said in the past, Mr. 411, we always like that note. You might want to make sure that notification button so that you know a lot of people waivers clear on Wednesday. So you gotta try and follow us as soon as you can so you can get your waiver bids in time.
Absolutely. And one more order of business before we get rolling, calculator, is our sponsor, our number one sponsor, Miss Heavenly Spa Mobile.
As people might be seeing, we are having technical difficulties, so we apologize for that. Um, But Mr. 411, our wonderful sponsor, she cut out early. Is that something you can handle?
Okay. Something we can work on. We could probably get her back on here a little bit later.
Okay.
But what
Okay.
we're going to do now is jump into our studs and duds. And for Miss Heavenly, we do appreciate Miss Heavenly Spa Mobile for all that she
Absolutely.
does for the Former Sports
Absolutely.
World shows and the Sports Brothers and everything in between. But calculator, we got to talk about it, man. It's time to talk about the studs and duds, and then we're gonna hit the waiver wire. But first, we had some studs for the weekend,
Yes, sir. Wait,
NFL,
and
and
for some
let me
one
know
of
if you can see them, calculator.
I can see him perfectly, and I just want to touch on the. It was funny. There was actually a matchup in our home league. A guy had Jonathan Taylor on Thursday night, and everybody was talking about, "Oh, I got the number one this week. Ain't nobody gonna be." And the guy he was playing had James Conner.
Oh wow, of all people,
Yeah, of
yeah.
all the matchups, the guy that everybody thought nobody could beat up Jonathan Taylor's numbers, and then James Conner. And the thing is, James Conner, I ripped him in at the beginning of the year just because I didn't like the situation that he was in. But this was like a perfect storm. They came in, and Chase Edmonds went out with a high ankle sprain. Yes, it has been. It
Yes,
came through today that it is a high ankle sprain. So look at him going. He will be going. He will most likely be going to the IR pretty soon this week. So James Conner, he came in. But we will talk about in our waiver wire what Chase Edmond owners can do in the meantime. And Justin Hobart, he's either bad Justin or good Justin. And this was the week he was good Justin. Of course, he did have
yes.
Philadelphia pass defense to help out with that. Lamar
The great
Jackson.
elixir.
Oh yeah, yeah. They Philadelphia seems to be a remedy for a lot of teams, a lot of fantasy people that struggle. Lamar Jackson still doing what he's doing. I believe now they said he's tied with Michael Vick for the most 100 yards rushing games, and he did it in like six fewer seasons. Michael Vick did.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is
So
amazing.
yeah, and that's why Lacey she pushed it back on me at the beginning of the year saying why is Lamar Jackson that people figured him out. He look at he's been doing, and I said what I like about Lamar Jackson, the reason he will always be a top five when healthy with me is because of that built-in floor, that built-in. He could have a 40-30% completion rate, right? But
Yes.
as long as he's getting 60 to 100 yards, that's almost like
Oh, no.
that's like 150 200 passing yards. So you
Yes.
do something like that, that's built in, not and so then everything he has on top of that is just gold. So yeah, Lamar Jackson keep that, and then Nick, we had a Nick Chubb sighting. He showed what he can do when the game script is in his favor. When they're playing with the lead, people do not. He shows. He just shows how good he really is. So, but yeah, great studs out there.
Hey, calculator. How about the the 70-yard run by Chubb. I mean,
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't even think anybody touched him. I mean, this is
And every now and then he just has those. He gets a
yeah,
hole, and he is very deceiving on how fast he's faster than a lot of people realize. If he gets ahead
yeah,
of you, he's not a lot of there's not a lot of guys that can catch him from behind.
yeah. Can you only imagine if Nick Chubb was the back? There was no
Oh yeah,
RBBC, no
yeah.
running back by committee, and it was
But the
just
thing
Chubb.
is, this was the first time they featured him as a
Hmm.
feature back because Dearness Johnson only had seven to nine touches around
Right.
there. So they featured Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb said, "Hey, he shows if you feature me, this is what I can do." And what I
Absolutely
really liked
calculated.
was his two catches. The man can catch the ball.
Yeah.
You just got to give him
And
a
maybe
chance.
next year that can go, and maybe next year that can get up to 5. And then you looking at fantasy gold next year with
Yeah,
Nick Chubb.
you're right. If he was just a pure Kamara type feature, Dalvin Cook type feature, Christian McCaffrey when healthy featured type back, he's
Yes,
a top five back, no doubt about it.
easily. Easily. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. So with all that positive talk, Connor, Taylor, Herbert, Jackson, and Chubb, now we have to turn the page to the duds for this week.
Uh,
And man, when you get to my quarterback, man,
oh,
it's really gonna break my heart.
oh,
Because I just thought I thought he had a
yeah,
matchup made in heaven this weekend.
everybody. Oh, and a lot of people, and I see this across DFS. Tyreek Hill was the most owned wide receiver in not only tournament leagues but in daily cash leagues. He was actually in one of mine. I tried to spin down in other positions to get Tyreek Hill, and yeah, it was just it's one of those games again. Tyreek Hill, and what's so frustrating is I finally decided to hone him in one of my big money leagues, and I've just gotten to ride him. I win when he does good, and I lose when he does bad. It's just how it is. But yeah, your
Yeah.
guy, Josh Allen. What I mean,
Oh my goodness,
who did
man.
he play? Did he play the vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers? Did he play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Awesome defense. He played
The 85
Jacksonville.
Bears?
Yeah, the '02 Buccaneers with Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
No, no, he was playing against the Jacksonville, and his namesake on the other side of the ball, Josh
Yeah.
Allen for Jacksonville, was in the backfield all game long. Interesting tidbit. They said this is the first time a quarterback had ever been sacked by another person with the same name. So, but it was
Oh,
funny because
nice
they kept
nugget.
saying Josh Patrick Allen for for Buffalo. Well, when they got to the guy from Jacksonville, that guy didn't even have a middle name.
Yeah.
They said Josh Allen without the middle name. So it's kind
Yeah.
of interesting. But yeah, hey,
Yeah.
Josh Allen had an interception on the from Jacksonville. Josh Allen had a fumble recovery from the other side. They and Buffalo just looked out of sorts. And I think it's one of those blips. You look at Green Bay
Yeah.
against the Saints. It was just one of those games. But look at the two guys at the bottom. Another one of those games on the same week. Dallas.
Man.
I mean,
Dallas, yes, sir.
I mean, who were they playing? Were they playing the Rams? Were they playing any other decent team? They were
Yeah.
playing the Denver Broncos without Von Miller, you know, and
Yeah.
and the reason we don't see Dak Prescott in there is because he was the beneficiary of two garbage touchdown drives that saved his fantasy. The thing is, neither one of those went to his two main receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. So it's kind of odd that you see both of his top receivers on the stud list, but not Dak. That's because Dak saved it going somewhere else. And DJ Moore, he is continuing to be a result of poor quarterback play in Carolina. I believe Sam Darnold targeted the defense more than he did DJ Moore in this game, which is not a recipe for success. DJ Moore has all that talent. I'm to the point where I don't know how Matt Rule can keep with Sam Darnold when he has when Robbie Anderson same way. I mean, I think Robbie Anderson's up to 2 targets in 2 games. you know,
Yeah.
so
Man,
that's not a
it's
good thing. And then Aaron Jones, That was a Jordan Love result. He couldn't keep teams honest. They stacked the box, and unfortunately, it's Jordan Love and success from AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon is showing why they use some draft capital on him, and I want to hate to be the bearer of bad news for Aaron Jones owners. This could be a continuing thing going forward with AJ Dillon eating
Yes,
into that snap count.
it's best to go ahead and give that out, calculator. Let everybody
Yeah.
know so they can go ahead and swallow that pill and move forward on that, man.
Yes.
I mean, but
Yes.
yeah, those are the duds this weekend. I mean, it's an interesting list. I mean, surprising list. When
Hmm.
as a quick summary, we talk about the matchups, and it's like there's no way. These teams had great matchups this weekend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
goes to tell you anything can happen in fantasy football.
That is very true.
But since there are a lot of duds out here, I know people have to make some adjustments.
Yes.
Also with some injuries and things like that. So let's go to the wire. What we got?
Yes, sir. Well, and the
All
reason
right.
a lot of people might come up and say this is the guy who's mostly widely available, and that is
I
because
mean,
of the high.
who is this guy?
Exactly. This guy showed what he could do. He took over. He actually got some snaps because, like we said, Chase Edmonds got injured with a high ankle sprain early on in the game. Well, with him exiting, James Conner got a full workload, but James Conner is not going to be on your waiver wire. This guy will most likely be on your waiver wire because as of this publication, he was 0% roster in all leagues, right?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he ended up with 49 yards and a touchdown on 9 carries. It looks like Connor could go into a full pass catching, still goal line role, but somebody else has. I mean, Connor can't take. We've seen what Connor can do when he is given a full workload. A lot of times he gets injured. So Benjamin will be the next game up on what is a high powered offense. So hey, Eno Benjamin could be in line for be fantasy relevance for these next few weeks while Chase Edmonds is on the mend. And like I said, if
That's
Chase
right.
Edmonds goes to the IR, that's 3 guaranteed games that Benjamin could get between 10 to 15 touches. So that because they're not going to want to
That's
see
right.
Connor wear down, they're going to save Connor for when Edmonds comes back and Connor can go back to his complement role. And but if he gets worn down, he won't be very successful in that role.
Right, right. Well, maybe Benjamin can help people win some more Benjamins.
There
So
you
if you
go.
get
Especially
your
this
hand
is
on
the
Benjamin,
That's right. This is the fantasy the playoff matchup, playoff run for a lot of people. But
all
Russell
right. What's the
Gage,
gauge on Russell?
me being a Saints fan, he broke my heart with the how the Saints were covering him. He did not, but see, the thing is, why would they cover him in week 8? He did nothing, 0 targets,
Yeah,
but he did
yeah.
play
Why?
68% of the. Exactly, I don't understand it, but he was a big part of the game plan since Riley is still out dealing with personal issues. So he led the team with 8 targets, catching 7 of them for 64 yards. He doesn't have a lot of upside, but with Calvin out for at least the next 2 games, he could be useful in PPR only options, in my opinion, because he's going to be kind of like a short target type of guy. He's not going to catch the touchdowns. He's not going to do the Cordell Patterson, give you the
Right.
Cordell Patterson experience. But he's kind of one of those band aids you can press in there and give you one of those safe. If you're in PPR leagues, a safe, double digit type 10 to 15 point range, which is all you want when you're going through bye weeks and looking at flex options.
Absolutely. All right. The next player.
Yes, he managed to lead the Patriots in both rushing and receiving, and shows that he has tremendous upside. He rushed for 62 yards, 10 carries, added 44 on 2 catches in the win over the Panthers this weekend, and could be in line for expanded role going forward due to Damian Harris exiting with a head injury. One is a concussion. However, don't go crazy on Ramondre Stevenson because he exited early with a head injury as well. But as far as upside, as far as a stash, as
Oh my
have
goodness.
any type of uh, guys that you want to wait and see. This could be a guy that he probably won't be as it's showing. He was 26% rostered, so he is fairly available in a lot of leagues. But it depends on if you have the room. You can put him on there. If you have a guy that is on your IR for a week or so, put Ramondre Stevenson in there and see what happens. Because even if after this year, if he comes back and Damian Harris is still dealing with a concussion, Ramondre Stevenson is going to be the next man up. Another guy that's not on our list in the backfield as well. If Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris are both out, Brandon Bolden is the next guy up for that, and he can catch and run as well.
Yeah.
Okay, next one up, 411. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull it up on there, but I want to point out to people that Jordan Howard, there he is on our list as well. Eagles made a point of getting the running game going last 2 weeks. Howard has been one of the biggest beneficiaries, signed off of the practice squad when Miles Sanders went on an IR last week. Uh, See, Howard followed it up with 2 touchdowns in Week 9 and had
Yeah.
leading 17 carries for 71 yards in the next one. Scott still saw 10 carries. Gainwell saw just 2, although one of them was a touchdown. Scott still seems like the best guy while Sanders is out, but Howard is definitely worth an add considering he's only 38% rostered. That's why he makes this list ahead of Boston Scott, because Boston Scott is over the 50% mark as of this publication. So that's why we're turning our sites to people that could possibly be available in your waiver wire, and Jordan Howard could be one of those peoples.
All right.
Yeah, and
And
just
one more
let
calculator.
people. Oh yeah, one more, and that's where he just hit the 50% mark. So he almost didn't make the cut. But I said, okay, I'm just going to let people know if he's out there because he's been terrible most of the year. He's had one good game all year, but Week 9 was encouraging for people that liked IU to begin with. All right, because what
Yes.
he did is he caught 6 of 8 passes, 89 yards and touchdown. Best game of the year so far. What is encouraging is he also did this with George Kittle on the field, Debo Samuel on the field. So he did it with their 2 main targets on the field. So it's kind of like, okay, this guy is talented, and they're saying, well, why is it taking this long? He actually came and told the Athletic, Brandon Ayuk did, that he didn't know how to practice. I don't know how somebody doesn't know how to practice at this stage in their career, but I think he's gotten the message. I think Shanahan got his
Yeah.
point across and could be saying, okay, let's give this explosive guy more of a chance. So if you're in a shallow league, 10-person league, got a big bench in that 10-person league, he might be available because I know, hey, I'll tell him in the 12-people league, I had this guy in the 411 league twice. And guess what? He's not
Yep.
on my roster now,
Twice.
so I
Yep.
don't know if he's still available in 411 league. But if he's out there, you can go and get him because I dropped him not once but twice.
Yeah. All right. Well, definitely, man. So, with speaking of the 401 league calculator, we need to do our weekly review of the
Yes.
401 listener league, and just kind of, just give a brief overview of where everybody stands so far, or some of the key matchups
Yeah.
and key owners.
With the
So
key
let's
matchup, there
get that
was
up there.
absolutely. There was a matchup. Mr. 401, I did share the screen. If you can get the producer to
Okay.
kindly put it up there, but if not, I'll just look at it. There we go. Thank you, producer. But yes, it was a number 1 versus 2 matchup against me, myself, and Captain Cosmo, who's always a thing. And if you look at the breakdown, and I can tell you right now, if I can't get 20 points from my quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, my number 3 pick, or I can't get double digits for my
Yeah,
number
my
2 pick,
goodness.
AJ Brown, I don't care. It could be Captain Cosmo. It could be Gregory D, who I think is in last place in this league. I'm going to lose the game. So that was basically that's all you have to see in that matchup. Herbert bounced back for Captain Cosmo and Firemouth. What a pickup! Captain Cosmo picked him up on a Saturday. That kind of helped,
Yeah.
which
Great
was
pickup.
pretty amazing. And of course, Boswell kicking 250 yarders and a 40 yarder as well. I mean, his pickups this week really propelled Captain Cosmo to he earned the victory. I mean, his pickups. That's why you pick up these guys. You try to do another hard luck award to Larry. Then all Larry does is score 140
Oh my
points and
goodness.
loses. No, it's like I feel bad for one of our
That's tough,
longtime
Larry.
listeners, Larry. But hey, it was a number 3 versus 4 matchup. Talented Mr. Ripley. Of course, with Larry, the good thing about Larry scoring all these points, he's going to have the tiebreaker over pretty much everybody. Because if you look at our full standings, Larry has a good 30-point cushion over the next
Oh yeah,
closest person to him. So Larry, you just keep doing what you're doing. You'll be fine. We've always said in our business that the cream eventually rises to the top. So just keep putting up points, and if you lose, you lose. I can tell from experience in my home league, I had the most. And I'm serious. The second most. I'm sorry. The second most in another league. I had the second most points in the league, and I missed the playoffs. It was one of the
wow,
things where I
that's
literally
amazing.
point. It was amazing. I can't make that up. I literally had to look at that. Captain Cosmo is in my home league that we do, and he would be sending me. I still remember a gut wrenching loss. I'm up by 11 points. Or it was Monday Night Football, and I still remember it. And you remember stuff like this when it happens to you. It was the Arizona Cardinals playing the Dallas Cowboys. All they had to do was pretty much fall down, game's over. Instead, I'm playing against Drake for the guy I'm playing, and he runs
Right.
for a 60-yard touchdown to basically not only to ice the game, but to put the game away and to put me out of my misery. So I literally lost that game on the last play of which should have been the last play of the game. So it happens. I say the cream eventually rises to the crop. It didn't rise to the crop of me that year, but you know what? In this home
Well,
league,
usually.
it
Yeah.
does. Hey, this year I'm in first place in that league. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you got. Sometimes the cards are against you. And I'll bring up the example again in my home league. The guy who had Jonathan Taylor thought he had an easy win, and then he's playing against James Conner. So it happens. But Larry's, we know Larry's going to be there in the end. Seatown Ballers, it finally looks like one of our top players. Looks like he caught a break this time. He scores 107 points, but happens to be playing against Lacey's, son.
Yeah.
And but hey, that's why you got to take. Sometimes you get good, sometimes you get
Right.
lucky. So you got to take the good with the bad. But it's look like it's shaping up to be
That's right.
pretty good. Lacey had a good another week, but again, she fell to another higher league. And then Team 411, and I'm not going to leave you out, Mister 411. You looks like you got some of the luck of the Irish on
Oh
this one
man,
too. Happen to be playing on against Darren's dandy
I
team.
definitely
Uh,
did.
yeah, so but hey, that's why. Hey, I wouldn't have minded playing Darren or Gregory or Eric,
Yeah.
but but
Well,
hey,
look, we were already prepared. We was preparing for next week. Calculated. We already thought this week was over with, and we were just preparing for next week. And we was gonna just take our licks this week. So we'll take any fortunate opportunity that we can. When we
absolutely.
can.
Yeah, and all I'm going to say is AJ Brown does not have to go against Jalen Ramsey for the rest of the year, so I'm very happy about that. So he should,
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
I just hope Patrick Mahomes gets his head on straight because I picked him, to be the top quarterback in the league, and he's not doing that. So
Well,
we'll
see,
we'll
well,
we'll,
calculate. I
we'll
want to
see.
ask you that because and I do want to ask you, I want to throw this out there, because Patrick Mahomes, I was looking at his stats and comparing them to Jordan Love's stats, and if you just blindfolded, the pictures of the players, you wouldn't know who was who. So,
That
what really is happening in Kansas City?
my
What is going on over
daughter
there?
said the same exact thing. She said, Jordan Love has more yards than Patrick Mahomes. And I said, goodness gracious, because Patrick Mahomes is my
Yeah,
quarterback in that pool. And
yeah,
I don't know what is so hard about being patient, doing the 10 yards is good. You
yes,
don't have to go for the 50-yard touchdown every time, Mr. Mahomes. If they're playing two deep safety, you take the check down. You know, don't do the long pass until you get the single coverage on the outside. It's not rocket science. You can literally go down the field. Yes, it's going to take you a long time to do it, but guess what? That is what you need to do. You don't need, and he's been careless with the ball. I'm telling you, he's doing too many commercials. He needs to take off doing the commercials, start studying some film, and figure out what's wrong. And I'm going to put part of this thing on Andy Reid too. Andy Reid, we
Yeah,
saw when people started figuring out when in Philadelphia, there's a reason he's not in Philadelphia anymore. It's because teams started figuring out, and Andy Reid got complacent. Well, Andy Reid, time to get back to the drawing board and figure out how to beat and bust the two deep safeties. Because it looks like Tampa Bay has given people a blueprint of how to defend the Kansas City Chiefs.
yeah,
So now Kansas City needs to do something different.
yeah. And I'm also noticing that there's turnovers, there's things that's happening that normally don't happen with a Kansas City Chief offense. So it seems like whatever's happening is contagious, and it's just spreading throughout the offense there in Kansas City. So we'll see if they ever get out that funk. Fortunately, similar to my fantasy team, they had a couple of saving opportunities there with Aaron Rodgers being out one week and then playing the Giants another week. So
Mm-hmm.
they have an opportunity here to right the ship, and we'll see what Kansas City does. But I guess
And
if
this
you
is.
are owner of Tariq
Mhm.
Hill, if you're owner of Hill or Mahomes or Kelsey, you just got to kind of ride it out, right?
Yeah, because you drafted them to be starters. I mean, these are not guys that you replace with waiver wire pickups. You don't do the streaming quarterback and put him ahead of Patrick Mahomes, because a lot of people drafted
Right.
Patrick Mahomes to be their only quarterback on the roster, so that they didn't have to invest in another quarterback. So yes, you keep doing Patrick Mahomes, you keep doing Tyreek Hill, and hopefully they can get things straight for you.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, man, calculate great information there. And before we do wrap it up, we do apologize for the video difficulty on the Heavenly Spa Mobile, but we do have her information going across the screen here. Heavenly Spa Mobile, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101A, Macon, Georgia, 31204. Latanya can be reached at 478-747-9231. That's 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, where relaxation is the key.
I think Patrick Mahomes need to go
Any
to see
last?
Miss Tanya and lifting up.
Yeah, he does.
So
He needs
yeah,
to relax and
yes,
refresh and
just
renew.
relax. Don't rush things.
Yes, absolutely. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
Relax.
So
So,
yes, sir. All right. Well, Calculator, I thank you for being on. Any closing remarks before we get out of here?
no, just
We have
keep
about
doing.
2 minutes
People,
remaining.
hey, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Work that waiver wire. The waiver wire is what complements the draft, and as long as you stay busy on the waiver wire, be a waiver wire warrior, good things will happen.
Absolutely. Words to live by there, Calculator.
Mhm.
All right. Crossing the lines. You can find Calculator on Thursdays on Crossing the Line, Tuesdays on the Fantasy Football Talk, and you can also catch the Sports Brothers and Lacey Dawson on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all the various social media outlets. And what else, Calculator?
Our friends Zingo TV.
That's right. We thank our friend Zingo for supporting 411 Sports World Show, Sports Brothers, and all in between. For the calculator, I am Mr. 411. We are out of here. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.